Hello everyone, welcome to Sugar's Little Farmhouse. My name is Kim, also known as Sugar, and today I am cooking some sides for our Thanksgiving meal, and I thought I would show you what I'm doing. So the first thing that we're going to do is work on our bread stuffing. I never had bread stuffing before until I met my husband. So his family is from Washington State. I am from South Louisiana, and we always had cornbread dressing, cornbread oyster dressing, or dirty rice, but I never had a bread dressing. And his mom made bread dressing, and I fell in love with it, just like Rick fell in love with our cornbread dressing and our dirty rice. So she taught me how to make it, and I've been making it for years for our family. So I want to show you what I do. So I'm going to flip the camera down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing on this table. Hold on. Give me a second. I don't want to drop my phone. Bear with me. Okay, I got it. So in this bowl here, I have bread. This is bread that I bought at Aldi. You can use any kind of bread that you like. This is an Italian bread. It was a crusty bread, and it was a few days old because it wasn't real soft in the package, and that's what I wanted. Last night I cut it up and I put it in this bowl here, and I kind of just been tossing it throughout the night, last night and through today, and it's stale. It's very stale. You can also get it kind of stale in the oven if you want to put it on a cookie sheet, but I'm not going to do that because I feel like it's stale enough, okay? So this is one, and it was a pretty big loaf like this. This is one loaf. What I'm going to add to it is I already sauteed my onion, one large onion, and about 4 to 5 stalks of celery in a stick and a quarter of butter. So I'm just going to dump this all into the bowl. Yes, it has a lot of butter in it, but that's what makes it good. So good. And to that, I am going to add 2 beaten eggs. I already got them beat. It's a pretty simple, basic recipe. To that, we will add some poultry seasoning, okay? And this is what gives it really the good flavor. And you know, I don't have measurements for this. I will start off with a teaspoon. Let's see. I'm gonna have to use the half a teaspoon so I can fit it into my little jar. So I'm gonna sprinkle it right on top, and I'm gonna get my hands in here. It's gonna be messy. So we're gonna do a full teaspoon to start off, and then I'm gonna kind of taste it and sample it, okay? Then we're gonna add some salt. Let's add about a teaspoon of salt to it. And this is just Himalayan salt. You can use whatever salt you like. And let's do a teaspoon of black pepper. And we're gonna use some chicken broth. Now I have my own bone broth that I made in this jar here. And then so I'm gonna shake it up, but you can use, you can use the carton kind that you get at the grocery store, that's fine. And I don't measure this part. Let me take off my rings, hold on. Oops, I just dropped my ring. It must have went under the fridge. I'll have to get that later. So what I do is I just kind of pour a little. And then I start mixing everything together with my hands, okay? So you gotta get your hands in there because you wanna be able to feel the consistency of the bread. The liquid's gonna absorb quite a bit into this bread. Okay. And we may pour some more and just let it sit here, and then we're gonna move on to the next dish, which will be our green bean casserole. I used to make green bean casserole all the time when our kids were young, but I just used canned green beans and canned mushroom soup and the canned onions. But as I started eating healthier, I realized, you know what, that canned mushroom soup has MSG in it and all kind of other things in it that are not good for me. Let's add some more of this. So I make green bean casserole from scratch, and it's really, really good. Okay, yes, I can feel it's soaking up really good now. And we're gonna let this sit while we move on to the green bean casserole, and then we're gonna come back to it to see if we need to add more liquid. And I'm gonna show you how I tell, or more seasoning actually too. You can add sausage to this, breakfast sausage if you like, or shredded chicken to it. You can add cranberries to it, whatever. You can get really creative. I've added cranberries before to it. I've actually added breakfast sausage to it before, and it's really good. My mother-in-law used to stuff the turkey with hers. I'm not stuffing the turkey with mine, but it does come out really, really good if you stuff it. And if you're gonna stuff your turkey, you want it to be a little bit drier, because all the drippings from the turkey is gonna drip into the stuffing, okay? So it's gonna get more moist inside of there. But since I'm putting mine in a casserole and I'm just gonna bake it, I don't need to, and mine can be a little bit moister. Okay, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more of this. Okay, and I'm going to just kind of let it sit here. Okay, let's just let it all get soaked in, and let me wash my hands. Hold on. I got my Jingle Bell cooking apron on today. Getting in the festive mood. Okay, so for the green bean casserole, this is what I already started. Let me get my stove on. I have in this pan here, I don't know if you can even see it. Let's see. Hold on. I'll show it to you. Make sure it's not too hot. I have 1 onion, 2 cloves of garlic, and 8 ounces of fresh mushrooms already sauteed in a little bit of olive oil, okay? So it's all hot. I mean, it's all tender already. So that's what you do the first step. I already started this for you, so it wouldn't take me so long. The next thing that we're going to do is add, let me get my recipe. We're going to pour in 3/4 of a cup of chicken broth, and my bone broth. This is what I used here. And we're gonna add that to it. And I'm gonna stir it around. This is a pretty easy recipe too, and it's so much better for you. To that, we're gonna add some spices. Okay, the spices, I have it mixed in this little bowl, is, I have in here, let's see, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, some pepper flakes, and that's it. Okay, so I'm going to sprinkle that in there, and I'm going to stir it around, and we're going to put some salt and pepper to taste. So since the chicken broth has a little bit of sodium in there, we're going to only do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then we can taste it if we need more, and a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Okay, so we're gonna bring this to a nice, let me get my temperature up, to a nice boil, and then we're going to add in, oops, I forgot, it calls for let me see how much, a 1/2 tablespoon of either soy sauce, which I don't like soy sauce. I use coconut aminos, so I'm adding a 1/2 tablespoon of coconut aminos. Coconut aminos takes the place of soy sauce in many of the recipes that I use. And it's a little better for you. It's a lot better for you than soy sauce. Soy sauce has so much sodium. So 1 onion, we started off with 8 ounces of mushrooms and 2 cloves of garlic, sauteed. Okay, so it's starting to come to a boil. The next thing we're gonna add is, I have here 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk. You can use, I've used light coconut milk in the can before, or regular milk, but we drink unsweetened almond milk. I didn't have coconut milk. And I have some cornstarch, 2.5 tablespoons of cornstarch, and we're gonna add it to this. And this is going to make it thick like cream of mushroom soup, okay? And I'm gonna stir that around, and I'm gonna let it cook just a little bit. So let me make sure I didn't leave anything out. Looking at my recipe, no, I think I added everything, and we just have to add our green beans to it. So you see how easy that was, right? Of course, I already had the onions and I'll saute to save time. So it's starting to get really thick already. So you want it, you know, really the consistency of like a cream of mushroom soup, you know, really creamy and thick. I'll show it to you. Let's see. I don't want to burn myself. Let me grab these pot holders. Let's see if I can do this without catching anything on fire. So this is what it looks like. See how yummy that looks? Really good, okay? And then what we're gonna add is, it calls for, you can use fresh green beans. I am using frozen green beans. I don't like to use the canned green beans in this recipe. Fresh is much better, or frozen. So I'm using a 12-ounce bag and probably a half of a bag of this 12-ounce bag. So we'll just see. I may end up putting all of it, who knows? Okay, it's really bubbly. Let me turn it down. Let me give it a stir. Yep, I'm adding the green beans now. And I'm gonna toss that in there. Now you can make your own crispy onion rings on top. Y'all, that's a little bit too much trouble for me to do. So I'm not doing that. I am going to go ahead and just use the, you know, I'll show you what the kind I use in a second. Give me a second. Let me get this in here. And let me toss it to see if I need to add any more green beans to it. Okay, it's coming together really nice. So I usually just let this simmer a little bit with the green beans because they're frozen before I stick it in the oven. So yeah, this is going to be perfect. So I put in about a bag and a half of frozen green beans. And I'll show it to you what it looks like. This is the onions I use. I get these from Aldi, okay? It has French fried onions it's vegan, made with organic onions, non-GMO, gluten-free. And so I use this, I top it with this, okay? You can leave that part off if you don't want to use this. But we just like the tradition of the little crunchy onions on top. And this is it, y'all. I will pour this into, this is what it looks like. I will pour this into a greased casserole and top it with the onions and put it in the oven. No, I won't top it with the onions at first. I'll put it in the oven for 15 minutes and let it cook until the green beans are cooked through. And then I'll top it with the onions for another 5 minutes to get them crunchy and brown. Isn't that easy? And so much better for you than, and I'm just gonna turn it off right now. And let's move on back to our dressing here. So let me go ahead and feel it. So it is really, you see how it kind of just sticks together? That's what you want. You want it to be able to stick together like that. But you know, it's going to dry out some when you're baking it in the oven. Now I'm going to taste a little bitty piece because I need to see if I need to add more salt to it. Well, it doesn't need more salt, but I'm going to put another half a teaspoon of this poultry seasoning. And maybe a tiny bit of salt. Maybe so. That's pepper, let's see. Just maybe a quarter of salt, a quarter teaspoon. And I will add just a tiny bit of this. of the broth. And that should be good, y'all. See how it's coming together really good? You just gotta get your hands in there. I will put this in a greased casserole as well. And I will bake this on 350. And the green beans too on 350 as well. For about an hour. The last 15 minutes, I'll take the lid off because I like it kind of crunchy on top. And that's it. This is bread stuffing. It is really, really good. Our kids love this bread stuffing. I am so glad my mother-in-law passed this on to me. I remember one Thanksgiving she was cooking, preparing it, and I was at her house, and I wrote down the steps, and I still have it written down. And actually, I have her recipe too. She had wrote it down for me at another time because I lost my recipe, and I have hers written in her handwriting, which I treasure forever. But yeah, you see how it sticks together really good? Just like that. So this is so much better than store-bought stuffing. Let me wash my hands one more time. Okay. And then I will put my camera around and chat with you before we go. I hope y'all all have a beautiful Thanksgiving and a Christmas too. But these are two of our sides that we love to have with our ham or our turkey. This year we're having turkey. Okay, let me do this. Let me lean over and get my camera up so I can see y'all. Ah, this is tricky. This is tricky. Okay, I think I got it. There y'all go. So, got my stuff in here. It's gonna be so good. So excited for Thanksgiving. So we're having this with turkey, and we're having the green bean casserole, and what else we're having? It's just Rick and I, so we're not doing a whole big spread. Usually we'll have sweet potato casserole, baked macaroni and cheese, all that, but we're not having all that. We don't need all that. This is just gonna be perfect meal, and we'll probably have some pumpkin pie. So anyway, thank y'all for joining me. I hope you like my recipes. Try them. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. I hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving. And if you don't mind, consider subscribing to my channel. It really does help me. And be grateful for something this week. Every day be grateful for something. I wake up every morning and I usually say 3 things in my heart that I'm grateful for. And today I'm grateful for you. Thank you for joining me. Bye, y'all. God bless y'all. The green bean casserole turned out perfect. So good. And the stuffing, delicious. I hope y'all enjoy these recipes.